highly touted bantamweight prospect, Adrian Yanez. What's going on, Adrian? How's life right now in Texas?
Man, it's actually great. We've been opening up. This quarantine's been easing up. And it's been really good. I just went to my girlfriend's stepdad's ranch just last weekend, man. And I had a blast out there. So, you got a lot of free range in Texas. So it was fun.
What are you doing out on the ranch? What kind of ranch is it?
It's just out there. They usually go out there and hunt deer every once in a while, but we just went out there just to go for like a baby shower. And man, we're riding four wheelers, man. Uh, just getting firewood, just having nice barbecues and everything. So it was fun. It was really good out there. I was really loving it. I really love that lifestyle because I'm usually in the city.
Mhm.
So whenever I got out there, it was just like a great escape for me. So getting on the four wheelers, just driving, riding down, just being around some family, good people, man. It was really great. I loved it. I loved the experience.
Yeah, it feels like real freedom, right? In a way.
Oh man, it felt great. It felt real great because you're kind of cooped up. Once you get in the city, you're like really cooped up. You go to Walmart. There's a whole bunch of people. You go into Houston, everybody's stacked up on top of each other. But as soon as you get out there, it's like land for days, and you get the f- you get the fresh you get the breath of fresh air. It was really great. It really did me wonders.
Yeah, man. Recharge, and get back into the city and get back on that grind, man. Now with yourself, you are in Texas. Texas seems like that's where all the fighters are coming out of recently. A lot of guys getting signed recently. Ike Villanueva got signed, and Anthony Ivy got signed, and it's like you're on the short list of those guys ready to get into the UFC. What's in the water out there, man? Is it just the regional circuit is just that tough?
Man, it's just really that tough. That then plus people weren't really looking at Texas in the first place. They were always looking at California and Florida. Those are the two places that you can actually look at, and those are like the mecca of MMA, especially Florida. You got New Mexico with that big staple, Jackson's Gym. In Texas, you really didn't have that until recently. You just started having these fighters. Once people actually started training with each other and started getting each other better, that's when you start seeing these big gyms like in Dallas, you got the Fortis, and I believe in you had the whole team takedown, but I don't know if they're still up. And then you had us right now, Metro Fight Club, us fighters. It kind of took a while for this group to get together because everybody was at different gyms, and then finally we just meshed up, and we have like a whole bunch of great fighters. I stayed with my coach my whole entire career, so it was really nice to see everybody coming in, and especially for my gym, for the gym that I'm a part of. That once it came together, like seeing all the fighters just grow and expand, it was like grow and like these our group get bigger. It was such a blessing because man, like now we're just starting to just skyrocket and just see everybody else do the same thing, and now you see it going forward, like whole bunch of like all these Texas fighters. And then plus, man, Texas, it's hot out here. We're all rowdy. We're tough, so we're all ready to go and fight. So it's just a matter of time. It was just a matter of time before he starts seeing us in there, anyways.
Slowly becoming the Texas takeover.
Oh yeah, for sure. I like that.
Well, you mentioned your team, Metro Fight Club. You've been there since the beginning of your career, or did you hop in there like in the middle? What was the timeline for that?
My timeline is whenever I turned 18, I started going to Metro Fight Club. I was a part of a different gym. I happened to find that gym like one day, strolling around the mall with my mom. I got my purple belt and did a couple competitions and did my first amateur fight with that gym. And then afterwards, I was like, I need something more. And Saul Soliz at Metro Fight Club offered more. And since that day I walked into that gym, we just it just meshed. My dad told me, "Hey, we're not going anywhere. We're staying here." He knows what he's talking about, and evidently my career's been is a showcase of that. I've grinded. I've gotten so much better. I went from just a straight grappler to a striker with a great takedown defense and great jujitsu. Now I got a couple submissions on my record, but my favorite ones are the knockouts.
Those are the best submissions.
Oh yeah.
Well, your 13 pro fights in your career, into your career, outside of your coaches and the gym, what are some key changes have you made to evolve into the fighter you are today?
Man, it took a while for me to get here. My whole mentality was as an amateur. I'll say like this: I had a killer instinct as an amateur. For my six amateur fights, I had a killer instinct. I had no care in the world. I went straight after it. I'd go in there with reckless abandon. And I just go out there and just sling some shots, and I didn't have a care in the world. My pro debut, was a resemblance of that. I fought a Taekwondo fighter. My head was still in the fight mode. But right after that fight, I broke my jaw, and it made my mentality change completely. I went to like trying to be like a little bit of a point fighter, slower. I slowed down my pace and slowed down my fights, and it kind of just was like my next fight didn't go the way it should have been. And then I had a couple tune-up fights. Then I fought again, and I was slowly getting it back. But I just with everything that was happening in life at the time, like my mentality was in a skewed position from that time. And after this last loss with Miles Johns, my whole mentality changed that next year. I walked into 2019 with the full intent of I'm walking everybody down and I'm hurting them, and I'm gonna do it my way. I'm gonna put the pressure. Like I'm going forward. This 2019 for me was like a I'm going forward and there's nothing that you can do about it. And that pretty much it sums up my 2019. I just kept going forward. My competition got stiffer, and then 2020 I had this whole new wave of mindset of like I'm evolving. I need to do more. I need to get better and everything. And like my whole mindset of MMA just closed in and was just like, wow, like I know I need to do more and I'm doing more now. Like I back in like my like before 2019, like 2018 and below, I knew what I had to do, but sometimes I wasn't doing what I needed to do. But in 2019 and 2020, my whole mindset changed, and I'm doing what I need to do and doing more. And then also, I'm taking my body, my nutrition, everything into play. So I've just grown everywhere as a fighter, especially in mental wise. Because man, if you saw my last fight, a lot of people would have gave up after seeing that leg, man. My leg got chopped up and chewed up, but I still kept coming forward. A lot of people would have quit. Shoot, a lot of people would have even quit with what I've been through, like in my actual career. I had two broken jaws, all these surgeries that went on. I just kept striving and moving forward. For some of that part, I didn't know what it was, but once I finally honed in and just got my mind right and got into a good mental space, I just I just shot forward and I just knew what I needed to do.
How much of that change in mentality goes to your last two fights ending in split decisions? You know what I mean? That one person, that one judge, you know what I mean? That one judge, if he scored it for you, you would be on this long winning streak right now that was undeniable, right? And maybe because of that, did it make you think like, hey, I gotta put this into my hands. I can't let it go into other people's hands.
And that's exactly it. My first loss, I know I lost. I won't like. Well, that fight, that was my second pro fight. I lost that fight. Not I'm not the type to sit here and dwell over it. I will go back. I always go back and look at it and know what I need to get better at. My next fight, I had a split decision loss. My next fight after that, I had a split decision loss for the title. And after that title loss, like I was in the back, I'm shaking up and I was like teary eyed and everything. To me, that was the biggest step that that I had took, and that was the biggest fight of my career at that point in time. And then I looked up at my coach, and I looked up at my brother and everybody, and I just knew. I was like, I'm not breathing hard right now. I'm in shape. What's going on? I looked at my coach and was like, I knew I could have done more. I don't know what happened. I should have done more. I'm not tired. If I lost this fight, I should be exhausted. I should be throwing up right now from how much like I exerted myself. I feel like I can go another 5 rounds. Like I don't like I just I just didn't do enough. I believe I won the fight. Those my last 2 losses. I believe I won the fight. But you can only believe so much. You have to go in there and show that you win, and show that you're beating this guy. You have to go out there and just really prove it, and really put forth that extra effort. And you have to go out there, and let's just say if it does go to the judges, you have to look like you made it look easy. And then for me, those last two fights, I even though I feel like I won, I know I had to look back and be like, I see how they scored it. It looks like I was just like I was having trouble. I was having trouble in all those times and in all those spots. So I just knew I just didn't do enough. And then after that, my whole mentality changed, and I was like, I am doing more. I'm gonna force myself to do more. And once I broke my habit of just getting by, I forced myself into new habits of doing what I have to do, and then just making it a routine and just constantly doing it. And then once I made it a routine, everything got easier. It's like, oh, I know I got to do this, 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 I got to do this. And for me, getting into a routine and doing the hard stuff as a routine makes everything so simple to me. Like fighting, as soon as you go in there, I know I'm in shape. I just got to go in there and just fight. I know what I got to do. And then yeah, that last fight with LFA, that college trial, that guy was just a tough guy. And he was just gonna throw everything he could. So it made it look tougher than what it was, especially him trying to chew up my legs. Uh, I definitely have been working on that because that's one of the first things that I look back every single time I take a leg kick in the video. I'm just sitting there and I'm like, oh man, I gotta start checking these. I put myself down a rabbit hole where I obsess over. I'm like, I need to start checking my kicks, and I need to kick back. I need to do all this. So I obsess over it now. I used to just feel like I wasn't obsessed with it as much, but now I'm just super obsessed with it.
Yeah, man. After that title fight, you went on 3 fight win streak. You're riding it right now, real high, and you're coming off that gutty performance in that LFA fight. Now, currently, what is your training situation? Of course, you're working at Metro Fight Club, but are there other locations that you visit throughout the week?
As nah, everything is done through Metro Fight Club. My coach Saul Soliz, uh, everything is just done through with him. He's really knowledgeable. He doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but man, the man knows a lot. He was working with Tito Ortiz and Rico Rodriguez back in the day, and he was actually getting them ready for their fights. And especially back in the day, whenever they were doing it, they had to experiment with a lot of conditioning stuff. Because a lot of back in the days, they didn't have the same knowledge for MMA that they had today. So with all the resistance bands and all this strength and conditioning, he's incorporated with everything that's new technology now, with old school stuff. So I really like what he does, and I kind of also think, man, if you're gonna get in fight shape, you have to do fighting incorporated things. Just doing deadlifts and squats and all these conditioning things that everybody else does. It necessarily doesn't help out with the fight. As I believe, I believe if you need to do like stuff that you're actually gonna do in the fight for conditioning. Uh, but man, he's incorporated a lot of good things over into the conditioning side and into the strength side and the speed and agility. So I just need one coach, and that's Saul Soliz. He's done a great job, because that 5 round title fight with Miles Johns, like I said, I went into the back and I just sat there and I was like, I could literally go 5 more rounds. So after a 5 rounder, like a tough 5 rounder with the guy who's in the UFC right now, I look at it and I'm just like, well, I got it good. I got the coach. I just need the one.
Yeah, well, you did have a fight scheduled, it looked like, for May or end of May. That was canceled, coronavirus, of course. What is
Yeah.
the status of that? Or do you have something else that you're looking forward to in the future? What's going on with the fight news?
Man, I was really super excited for that fight. It was gonna be for Fury Fighting Championship, and it was gonna be a fight that if you're from Houston, you know this fight was brewing for a long time. It was me. It was me versus a guy named Ricky Tercios, who's also a Dana White Contender Series vet. He went in there and fought that guy Boston Salmon. He had a war with that guy, so I was gonna get to fight him after all the times that we have been matched up before and stuff not falling through. So it was finally gonna happen. And then you know what? It's like Houston's Tony and Khabib. It just wasn't gonna happen. So uh, as much as I wanted that fight, the coronavirus hit and it canceled all events. Literally 3 hours before the event was set to open its doors. So I was really bummed out about it because I felt super great. I felt I was gonna starch the guy, but as of right now, as what's going on, we like my management team, Meridian Sports Agency, has told me, hey, stay on weight. You're on the contenders. You're on the contender series. Uh, just right now, just stay on weight because you never know the opportunity might come in. Jason House and those guys, they do a great job and they keep me updated. So hopefully, I might get a earlier call. I'm staying ready, still training. I haven't actually stopped training since the coronavirus hit. I've been consistently training. I've never stopped. I'm in shape. So I'm in fight weight already. So if they need me to cut within by next week, I'm good to go.
I'll be looking forward to that, man. Either if it's contender series, if it's a short notice fight, whatever it is, you should be on your way to getting into that octagon, man. Adrian, appreciate the time and good luck on getting your shot. And hopefully we do next time we chat is before your debut.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much, man. Thank you for the time.